So the first thing here is Andy No's tweet in which he's saying that he was right and he is right. So a lot of people were criticizing him in his comments, and a lot of, let's say, leftist commentators were asking that this has nothing to do with left-wing philosophy or groups or anything like this. And Andy No's like, nope, not having it. This is definitely the case. And he's been proven right by the government reporting on this. So if we go to the archive of the Times article, just to get up the information. So the information they're given here, participants in the, quote, Kill the Bill event said they lacked a single organizer, which meant that the event was vulnerable to being hijacked by a violent minority. Okay. Groups that encouraged their followers to attend the protest included Extinction Rebellion, All Lives Matter Bristol,
All Black
Lives Bristol, and the Socialist Workers' Party Bristol. Another No Fixed Abode Anti-Fascist, so Antifa, told people...
Homeless Antifa.
Homeless Antifa
Okay, yeah.
told people not to share footage of protesters unless they were in masks. So
Right.
they were telling people to lie.
I mean, an easy way to do this is just ask all of the people who are arrested for this, do you support or disavow Black Lives Matter? And every single one of them, without exception, will support Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that would be another way of doing it. But I don't think we need to. I think we're perfectly happy of looking at the groups that organised, the groups that attended, and the groups that were commenting on this before it happened, and then just the flags and the imagery of the people taking part and the tactics they had. And I think we've got quite a substantial amount of evidence that this is a socialist riot. I don't think we have to do anything else.
When someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, so Andy No did nothing wrong. He also posted a picture which was unknown, so if we can get it a little bit bigger, I don't know what's happening with the video there. That's weird. That's not normal. That's a bug. But anyway, you should be able to see, like, the cars, the windows have all been smashed. Presumably because cars are a symbol of capitalism.
Oh, thank you, left-wing protesters.
So just they broke into some car park nearby where the police station was, by the looks of it, and just smashed everyone's windscreen. People who have nothing to do with anything, just random people who have parked their cars for the night. Too bad. You're in the way of the socialist revolution, so bye-bye. And
welcome to Portland.
We spoke about Keir Starmer, so he had a response to this, and I want to play it again for people who hadn't noticed us or been with us yesterday. So his response to the question about whether or not he endorsed or disavowed this. So let's play.
Good. Right. My question is, with the backdrop of you having supported an organisation which wishes to defund the police by taking a knee with your deputy leader, how do you think the inaction of the police in the BLM protests in 2020 has affected the respect and authority of the police in Bristol?
Well, Ed, thanks for that question, by the way. The two things are completely different. Black Lives Matter is a very, very huge movement across the UK, across the world, drawing attention to the injustice of structural racism that's gone on for very, very many years. What happened last night is a million miles from there. This is just lawlessness. As I said, inexcusable, unacceptable.
So correctly saying that it's lawlessness, but then incorrectly saying that this has no similarity or is completely different, in his words, to what happened in America with BLM. It's like, that's just obvious nonsense.
Yeah, I don't even know why you'd say that here.
Ergo, why I put the footage in there of the two different protests, and it's exactly the same thing. Setting fire to anything that's police.
Smashing up private property.
I love the chat here. He looks like a manager from McDonald's. He kind of does.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So then there's the response to this from him could be said to be mixed, let's say, at best. And this is the tepid side of the Labour Party, if we're being charitable. And then there's the socialist wing of the Labour Party, the Corbynites, who have been kicked out of power. They've got their own problems, which is that they just can't disavow it at all. So they couldn't even get to the point of saying criminality bad, which is what Keir Starmer got to. Which, Jesus,
well done, Keir.
So we want to go with the mentally challenged squad, is what I'm going to call them. So if you can scroll up a little bit here, you can see Diane Abbott's tweet, in which she's posting our squad. So the version
they've even copied the squad. Yep. Oh, God, they're so cringe.
So Diane Abbott tweeting, the squad campaigning against Tory police crackdown bill with 4 Labour MPs who are all women of colour, shall we say, except the thing they really have in common is they're all idiots.
They're all communists.
Yep.
That's what they have in common.
Like, literally,
Nadia Whittome, Zara
brainlets.
Sultana. Yeah, these just the communists of colour in the Labour Party. Oh, good.
Yeah. And you see Nadia at the bottom there saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes, you have just ripped this off of the Americans. That's exactly right. You have no original thoughts of your own, Nadia. Correct.
Well, actually, there she's saying that they're taking after Diane Abbott, which, Jesus Christ. I mean, of all the people to say you take,
it's not really very fair to call her a giant. I mean, she's a bit plump, but like she's in her 60s, and give her a break.
Fat shaming by the Socialists.
Yeah, Nadia, that's not on.
Unacceptable. So the mentally challenged squad had their own problems. So Nadia here being the focus of this episode because she came out with the stupidest of stupid. She went on Politics Live or whatever they named it now.
Yeah.
And decided to give her opinion. I love Andy Note. She, her. It's gonna add the pronouns after you tag them now. That's a new rule. Oh, that's actually great. I should start doing that because it tells you exactly what they are. Anyway, so the
it's like the Echo Mark.
I know, right? But they do it to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They're wearing their own badges.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you insist of doing that to yourself, we will happily oblige. God, I didn't notice that. Anyway, so she went on here to defend the socialist rioters on the basis that they didn't do nothing. So let's just play her clip.
Nadia, do you want to take this opportunity now, having listened to the rest of the panel? Keir Starmer, your party leader, has also condemned the violence, along with the mayor of Bristol. Do you want to condemn the violent scenes that we have just shown all our viewers from last night?
Of course, Joe, I don't want to see violence against anybody.
So you condemn it?
And I wish everybody who's been hurt in this a speedy recovery. I'm not going to, as I've already said, I'm not going to get into the business of condemning protesters until we know exactly what's happened.
Right, but if you're condemning the violence, you do have to condemn some of those people that we can see quite clearly from the pictures were setting fire to police vans. Police officers have been injured and they were attacking the police. Responding, actually, to what Anita said as a Labour MP, do you want to just straightforwardly say that was wrong?
I don't want to see violence being perpetrated against anybody, and I wish everybody who's been harmed a speedy recovery. But as I say, I'm not going to get into condemning protesters when we don't know what's happened yet. We need a full investigation into what's happened on the side of protesters, as is happening, but also on the side of the police. That's just the function of a democratic society.
All right, well, people can obviously make their own judgments about what you've said.
Notice how when she's talking, the corners of her mouth are coming up. She's smiling. She knows she's getting one.
She can't believe she's getting away with it.
Yeah, she can't believe she's getting away with it.
But I also love that. Like, she's condemning the violence, but she won't condemn the people doing the violence. Even though she knows that those people doing the violence, her saying, "Oh, I need to wait for more information." No, you don't. We've got the footage.
Yeah, we know exactly what happened, but it's a Jeremy Corbyn answer. I condemn all violence.
Well, it's not actually.
Well, yeah, it's even worse than that.
No,
isn't
because she's condemning violence as an abstract concept.
Yeah.
But the people doing it, not going to condemn them. It's being like, I condemn murder, but not murderers. You know, I think raping children is bad, but the people who rape children, I can't condemn them. That's their viewpoint.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
It's really weird.
Good spot.
Like, I don't know what to say. It's just, what's wrong with you? But the obvious point here is in her mind, I don't know if she's being that smart stupid, is what I'm going to call it. Mm-hmm. Sort of like fresh frozen. You know, it's just nonsense. Yeah. I think she's probably just trying to make sure that she isn't seen to be condemning socialism.
Oh yeah, because it'll be in her little, Labour communist networks. All the activists will be like, "How could you condemn our fellow comrades who are rising up against the capitalists? This is the proletariat's move, blah blah blah." And she can't condemn that.
Yeah. So for example, I just checked up on like the Labour Reddit page to see the comments on things like this, because that's a hive of socialist leftists, and they're all like, "Well done. This is a great interview. She stood her ground." And they're all basically saying, thank you for not condemning us in our violence.
Yeah, but that's great because the British public are like, right, so Labour don't condemn the violence. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, we're looking at this. 20 police officers injured, 2 of them hospitalised. Doesn't condemn the violence, even though we've got video evidence of them doing it.
And notice the way she said as well, I don't want to see violence. Well, sure. I mean, I don't want to see a lot of things, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do them. I don't want to have to do my taxes, but I'm going to do it.
I don't want to see an Islamic caliphate, but I'm not going to condemn ISIS.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What? But anyway,
it's really weird. I find that kind of argument. That's something new. I've never seen that before.
It's wonderfully slippery. You know, it's got the veneer of, well, I didn't approve, but actually I did approve. Packaged in there. It's very clever.
God, man, they really are snakes. She's part of the Socialist campaign group, which make up 20% of all Labour MPs and of the most famous idiots, shall we say. And she didn't back down on this. So the next one here is this. Sorry, go back. That tweet was her doubling down and she was being called out by some Conservative MP or something, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, you've got to doubt this, come on. Like, giving her a second chance, which I don't get. Like, if you're a Conservative, bury her. Why
Yeah.
are you throwing her a life ring? Like, I don't know.
Because the Conservatives are idiots and think that these people can live in a civil society with them. They don't seem to understand that, and we've seen this exemplified in the left in the squad in America, where the squad are 100% against the right in every manifestation. So they don't want like a Concord where you can have a civil discourse about certain topics and give a bit and then come to an agreement. No. They're entirely wrong, and the left wants to take everything they have. And this is what the Conservatives in the UK need to understand.
Yeah, but thankfully she didn't take the lifeline and instead decided to double down on it, which is just amazing. And there was a point made by Alistair Campbell in this whole thing, which was actually funny as well. He was like, look at the history of Labour since the last Labour government. Lose, Blair, lose. You guys suck. I mean, of course, I condemn Blair. Like, Blair's government was atrocious, but he has got a good point in the fact that at least these people aren't electable, and it's good that the
God.
British public see through them. But then she also tripled down, so she wasn't content to just double down on it. She then went on Twitter to post her, let's say, revised views, but again, didn't condemn the people doing this.
Well, I'm strongly against the use of violence against anyone. Right, so that statement enough is to condemn the protesters, to condemn the rioters.
No. It's to condemn the violence as an abstract concept being done against the police, but not the person doing it.
But it's a direct logical corollary that you must then condemn the people.
Dude, we are dealing with socialists.
I guess.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess.
Expecting logic.
I guess we are. What was I thinking? Yeah.
That's like, yeah, she goes on. It is right to wait until an investigation into why public order broke down a demonstration that was previously peaceful before making sweeping statements.
Well, we have the admissions from the communist groups that were agitating within it.
We have the video footage.
But we've got their social media statements.
Yeah.
From all these various, the homeless Antifa or whatever it is.
Socialist Workers' Party endorsing the violence in a clip and then posting it up, and you're like, I'm not sure. It might be something else. The police might have done this. It's like, God. And then the next one below this. What must not be lost in this conversation is the policing bill itself. It represents the biggest assault on the right to peaceful protest in a generation. It is an illiberal and draconian bill that must be scrapped. If we want peaceful protest must be allowed.
Well, I don't even disagree, but the thing is, Nadia, I don't think you're a liberal at all, so appealing to liberal values of peaceful protests just strikes me as like Mao saying the same thing. It's like, well, I mean, it's illiberal if we don't allow people to protest in Tiananmen Square. Also, there were no protests in Tiananmen Square.
Like, don't you know this is a liberal Tories? Why would you vote for this? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why can't you appeal to your own side?
Yeah, why is it not unsocialist? Weird.
It's not unsocialist, is it?
No, it's very socialist.
Yeah, and then also the point there, if we want peaceful protest, peaceful protest must be allowed. It is allowed still under this bill. There are more restrictions on it. I don't like the restrictions, but it is not the end of peaceful protest in existence. It's just that you guys can't peaceful protest ever.
Yeah, when has the left ever actually managed a peaceful protest?
I mean, Jesus will come back when that happens, I presume. And then there's you can see it here. But
Diane, great interview today, Nadia. Yes, brilliant interview.
Endorsing the interview. I love Diane Abbott, like her judgment here. Yeah, that's worth anything at all.
Great.
But it's a Labour MP in the Socialist group who's congratulating her. But she's not the only one. John McDonnell has also congratulated her.
So the actual Marxists. I mean, Diane Abbott said that Mao did more good than harm, and McDonnell just openly admitted to being a Marxist who wants to overthrow capitalism.
Yeah, and I want to remind people as well, just to keep this in mind. If Labour had won the 2019 election, that man would be in charge of the economy.
Yep.
Diane Abbott would be in charge of the police.
God.
That's where we would be.
But what choice? We've got that or Boris and the Conservatives.
I
guess it's got to be Boris.
That really puts into perspective for me why I'm always like, Conservatives suck, but you have to grate your teeth and just be like, God's sakes. Because, I mean, the alternative, there isn't one, quite frankly. The alternative is the abolition of everything. So, pick one, I guess.
It's either the immediate abolition of Britain or the gradual abolition of Britain. Which one would you like?
Boy, I love
I'm
British
a Conservative.
I love that meme.
I do.
But this shouldn't have been a surprise either from Nadia. So back to her tweet like a long time ago in which the Edward Colston statue was taken down.
Oh.
So she posted a video of it being destroyed and then posted, sorry if you can scroll back up so I can read. I celebrate these acts of resistance. Resistance against what?
Yeah.
What, were you being oppressed by? The statue? What are you talking about? We need a movement that will tear down systematic racism and the slave owner statues that symbolize it. There is name the racism, name the law, name the system. They can't.
Well, maybe one day women of color could become MPs in this country.
Oh, I believe.
It won't
have a
happen
dream,
yet,
Nadia. It's like we had.
One day, black women won't be sent to the back of the bus.
Like we had brown. What was it? We looked it up. What was it? We had a brown-skinned MP in like 1847 or whatever it was.
1841, I think it was.
Some ridiculously long ago.
Literally before the US had abolished slavery.
Yeah, and then since then we've had dozens upon dozens. But systematic racism is keeping brown people down in the UK. Shut up. And we need to win a government that will always be on the side of this movement. Exactly. You need a socialist government that will be on the side of these radical Marxists. That's what they want.
Yeah.
And that's why it's no surprise whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another tweet from her in which she's bigging up the organisers of Black Lives Matter demos the same day, so this is in response to that previous tweet, in which she's proud of everyone for doing this. She's proud of everyone for destroying this country. I'm like, okay, great.
Thanks.
That's what you've got to vote for on the other side.
So,
man.
Anti-rule of law or the slow abolition of Britain?
Yeah. God, I wish we had a Republican Party.
Yeah, me too.
We don't, but not to get rid of the Queen. God save the Queen. But there's also the point here, which is, as Andy No raises, that any criticism of Black Lives Matter is racial hatred, according to these people. So you can see All Black Lives UK, so this is the parent organisation of the Bristol one. British politicians, British media shaking hands, blaming black people for everything. No. Criticising you Marxists is not racial hatred. But I bet it will be by the end of the next decade or whatever.
Yeah, well,
because we have laws against racial hatred in this country in the same way we have laws against hate speech, and I bet they'll expand it so any criticism of Black Lives Matter will just be classed as racial hatred.
Well, sharing memes of George Floyd has already been made illegal,
so,
as we found out yesterday. So
because white people are offended by them,
I guess, yeah,
not brown people. There are no brown people in that conversation.
No.
So anyway, but there's a good reply from Andy No here. Sorry, if you can go back so I can read it. No one is blaming black people, as your organisation is mostly made up and funded by whites. Some of us, like myself, are bringing attention to your Bristol chapter's role in calling for comrades to go to the protest turned riot in Bristol last night.
Can we get a salute in the chat for Andy No for doing the Lord's work here?
It's just wherever he goes, he brings sense.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's here at least.
BTFO and communists.
And there's the good point being made. Just don't forget this. Like, I know this will just become part of the woodwork in a year or 6 months, so if you can go to the next one, it's just someone making the point here. Bristol is the best advert and reason to never vote Labour. Remember Momentum, Labour MPs and socialist groups that all supported, and in some cases applauded last night's appalling behaviour. That's the world they want to create. That's not the world for me. Never Labour, never socialism. And he is correct.
That's Heather, but good on her.
With all the problems I have with the Conservative Party and the stupid stuff they do, she is correct in this point, which is just that there is no alternative at the moment, which sucks. And I look forward to another right-wing party doing the Lord's work, but they're not there. Yeah. Although there is some good news out of the Labour Party. Sorry, out of the Conservative Party. Freudian slip. So one of their councillors has said something rather based in response to this, and Labour people are upset. And I just want to give it a mention because it's hilarious. So if we go to the next one, just bomb Bristol.
I see the Labour Party are outraged. No, we're meant to be doing the bombing.
We want to bomb the police station, not you.
Yeah, literally, you guys are the ones who are setting things on fire and throwing Molotovs. Like, why are you offended when someone agrees with the idea?
Oh, man. But yeah, I love Stephen.
You literally bombed Bristol. Like, you were in
you were
Bristol.
firebombing it
2 days ago. Firebombing it. And when a Conservative says, you're like, how could you, sir?
That's words. That's even worse than actions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the state of what's going on there.
God.
The left wing of the Labour Party and then, the centre of it, let's say, with Keir Starmer, unable to condemn the fact that this is exactly what was predicted and now has happened and will expand. I mean, I saw people on the radio this morning, I think it was the police calling up, saying, are we expecting a summer of discontent now? It's like, well...
Yes.
Yeah? Why is this going to stop?
The rot has set into the Labour Party. There's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 PM UK time on lotuseaters.com.